Hello, everyone. I'm going to do just a little quick video here to talk about the new Hayley Williams solo debut single titled Simmer that was just released this past week. She is going to be releasing her first solo debut album, which is 15 years, that people have been waiting for this since Paramore debuted. In May, the album is titled Petals for Armor. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I haven't actually really talked much about Paramore at all on this channel. I'm not the hugest Paramore fan. I haven't heard every single song they've made. That's something I'm trying to give myself as a bit of a homework assignment because I do want to make a video about Paramore's music sometime in the near future. Because instead of going back and reviewing all of their individual albums, which I just am never going to get around to. I want to talk about my top 10, 15 favorite songs. So I just want to make sure I've given the earlier stuff a fair shot and listen before I make that video. So stay tuned for that. But uh, Hayley announced at the beginning of this year that we were going to be getting a new debut album from her that is just her, even though Taylor York, who is one of the members, is definitely in the fray here. I believe another band member, Joey Howard, who is not really like one of the, Taylor York and Zach Farrow, Hayley, they were like the core Paramore group. There were others. He was a touring bassist, Joey Howard. He's been also helping out with the guitar and some of the keyboard stuff on this song. So obviously it's a solo song, but it still kind of is a band project. It's just now under purely her name. It's always a little confusing to me, like what makes an artist a solo artist versus a band artist. It's like there's always other factors, other people involved. But I believe this song is self-written, but I'm not entirely sure if it's co-written or if it's just entirely Hayley herself. A lot of people, I think, were expecting this to be a lot more pop and more upbeat, just considering it's supposedly like a big comeback single. It's kind of meant to be like ideally something that would do really well on radio. Even though Paramore, they're mainstream, but they're still alternative in certain ways. I mean, they're definitely more of a pop rock band, especially, in their most recent record, which was much more light and airy and full of great synth work. It was a little less of a band sounding record in parts. Which I did enjoy After Laughter. I mean, like I said, I'm not the hugest Paramore fan, so there are always going to be songs that don't really do as much for me, just melodically and sonically. Then it's just not so much my sound that I'm always into. But there are also so many great songs on that record. And also, I mean, the vocals and the lyrics are so raw, open, and honest. Like, I just cannot not relate so earnestly to what she's talking about. I mean, there's some really heavy, dark stuff in their lyricism, which I always gravitate towards. And this song is definitely heavy and dark. The opening lyric, "Rage is a quiet thing." I mean, she says this in such a restrained but like frustrated way. There's so much holding back in this song that feels like it's about to burst. It's actually a bit of an anxious listen because you really don't know on first listen, especially where the song is going. Is this song going to really explode with a more soaring chorus, or is it just going to be sort of more under your skin mid tempo the whole time? And that's what we get. I mean, it's definitely avant garde, it's definitely unique, and not really what I expected. The production is very sparse and spaced out. It's very on rhythm, and it's a bit of a rushed chorus. The simmer, 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 simmer down. Like it feels like I said, this is like a dialogue of frustration that's kind of going on in her head. Lyrically, this song kind of reference verse 2, I think, really kind of illustrates the raw, sort of bittersweet reflection that she's dealing with. If I had seen my reflection as something more precious, he would have never. And if that child needed protection from a effer like that man, I'd sooner gut him, 'cause nothing cuts like a mother. Oh, how to draw the line between wrath and mercy. I mean, this song definitely kind of comes across, as like the kind of cool down that you try and give yourself after you've gotten really frustrated after like a fight. And so, looking at the visuals for this music video, it's like very dark. There's this sort of transformative using pain and suffering to sort of let go of your past and try and kind of like castrate and cast off like that negative energy. She sings at the end, you know, I wrap myself in petals for armor to control yourself in a way. So, you know, pent up that rage and try and turn it into something beautiful. Because at the end of the day, where does this bridled anger really get you? You know, is it really just escalating things further, or is it better to simmer down and become the better person, the higher person, and take the high road and simmer down and allow yourself to transcend all that anger and pettiness and decide that, you know, maybe I won't forget, but I'm gonna forgive for right now all of this horrible stuff you've done to me. So, where does this song land in terms of how I feel about it? Well, I've got to be honest, replay value for me is not very strong with this song. It's not really catchy. It's not really meant for that. It's very experimental. It's definitely, you know, sort of better suited for, I think, a headphones kind of listen rather than, you know, something you play in a loud setting. And that's fine. I mean, it's got its place. As a lead single, you know, I definitely think it builds suspense and it definitely is a great tease for, I think, what's to come. I do think it leaves us wanting a lot more just because, I don't know, I feel like this song doesn't really go anywhere that I'd like it to. I know I'm a little hesitant to say that because some people might think, oh, it's like all about the sort of subtle emotion intenseness. I get that, but it's just not really satisfying enough for me. Like this song just keeps making me want more from it. Like there's another chorus coming that'll just sort of tie it all together because it feels like it's all verses. And it doesn't really stick out for me. And I'm so huge on melody, and the melody is not really there. The melody is more there in the verses than it is in the chorus, and it's a bit monotonous in the way she kind of repeats in this sort of a monotone, direct sort of eyes closed. Another way to make it to 10. Control. You know, like it's very like mantra, and so I can see the sort of subtle inner workings of how this song came to be and why it might be cathartic for Hayley to make. But it's just not ultimately my cup of tea. I did want to film a review about it though, because I really do appreciate the artistry and the experimentation. I think we're in for quite a roller coaster ride with this new record from her. I think lyrically, we're going to see some of the most raw, dirty, honest, gritty lyrics that we're going to ever get. I think that the curtain's really going to be pulled back even more. And she has basically said that this is an album full of stuff that she was always a little too afraid to make, you know, in terms of instrumentation and instrumentation and experimentation with the Paramore projects. And so now she's getting a chance to really like cast off, you know, all of the pretense and just make really raw, earnest music. And, you know, it's not always going to please everyone. So, I mean, I've seen a lot of positive response. I think a lot of that is just hype because everyone's like, oh my God, it's been a little while. She's been teasing, doing solo work for years. Like, this is just a huge moment. But does this song really stand on its own 2 feet at the end of the day without all of that extra hype around it for me? I don't necessarily feel like it's going to be a song I'm going to come back to very much, but it does have the potential to be a grower. I've already, you know, with repeated listens, become a little bit more comfortable with it. And I definitely feel like it's one of those songs for sure. But this is definitely just an appetite teaser. I'm really more excited about what's to come. This doesn't really feel like the it song for me at all. And as a single, I just don't know if it really stands on its own 2 feet that well. That's just my opinion, though. Sorry, again, I'm not the hugest Paramore fan. I like pop music, so I definitely, when it comes to radio singles, I'm thinking a little bit more in terms of dynamics and like catchiness. And as much as I love the raw experimentation of it, this song is a little flatlining in parts. And the decisions that were made, I appreciate. I appreciate in the production and everything, but it's a little off-putting, and not in a way that feels ethereal or inviting. It's just sort of it's sort of crude in that way. And I mean that with the sincerest respect. This song is kind of just meant to be kind of ugly in a way, like negative feelings are. So I mean, you know, you can't necessarily. I'm an aesthetic. I like pretty things. So what am I going to do? You know. So let me know in the comments what you think of this song. Again, please. I'm not trying to be super harsh or anything. I'm just giving my own raw, honest opinion. I'm a little worried about when I like review things that I'm not so glowing in praise with, because that's what I tend to do on this channel. And you know, I have to be more honest. You know, it's like I want to talk about it, but I'm not always going to love it. Yeah, this is just, I'm excited to see what's coming. I will definitely be reviewing whatever she releases in, it sounds like May. And I hope to see you there in those videos. If you're wanting to stick around, give it a like and subscribe. And thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed day. Peace, love, and light. Bye.